Welcome into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. And first of all, congratulations on that win at home. And I wanted to hear for you, what was the importance of that win? What were the things you said to the team going into it, the playoff implications, all of that?
Yeah, everything. We needed to get back on the winning track. You know, losing 2 in a row was not a good taste in your mouth. We did a great job, I thought, in our open date of getting rested and staying healthy and beating the virus. That was number one. We came in, we were rested. I thought we were the fresher team in the fourth quarter. But again, beating the Vikings, getting the tiebreaker on them, almost ensuring a playoff spot now, and getting closer to ensuring one is huge for us.
And what did feel different after the bye week? I know there were several things that you guys were working on with the team, emphasizing with them. What were the things that you felt like, yes, I saw a difference that I wanted to see coming off of a bye week, and maybe what still wasn't quite what you'd hoped a bye week could help fix?
Yeah, I think coming off, we were really sharp. Offensively, we had another chance to have a no sack, no turnover, no penalty game. We had one false start late in the game that kind of broke that one. I thought our offensive line was outstanding. Blocked well in the run. Tom was clean. The only pressures came a couple of times from the tight ends who have a tough job sometimes blocking defensive ends. And I thought we were in sync. We had a good running game. We had a good passing game. 60% on third down, 100% in the red zone against a team that was really good third down defense and really good third down red zone defense. Defensively, I thought we played really good. We just missed too many tackles. And coming out of an open date late in a year like this, you never practice tackling this much anymore. Against DALVIN Cook, I knew it was going to be a struggle, but our major objective was to keep Thielen and Jefferson in front of us and not give them a big chunk play in the passing game. We did a great job of that. Missing the tackles, that was the only negative thing coming out of the game for me was missing the tackles.
And what now will be the things that you do to try to emphasize that again? I mean, is that sort of a thing that you're going to focus on in practice? Is that just a thing that you harp on in meetings? What can help fix something like a tackling thing?
A little bit of both, but you're not going to go out and tackle in practice. That's just, we only wear pads. If we wear pads, we wear pads half of practice on Wednesday. That's just the way the rules are. So you gotta talk about it, breaking down. When you're practicing, break down. Just don't tag people. Just break down and get in good tackling positions, and we'll tackle better.
And I know that in addition to the yards after contact, which was a big part of their running game, I mean, you knew that this Vikings team was going to be all about starting with the run. They opened with 6 straight runs. I mean, we knew what a big part of their game plan DALVIN Cook is. But of course, the run defense you guys have had has been your strength these last couple years, one of those strength-on-strength games. But through a couple drives, they had more rushing yards than you guys tend to give up on an average for an entire game. So what was it about specifically DALVIN Cook or the Vikings or their offensive line that seemed to be a little bit more effective than you guys as compared to some other teams?
Yeah, I think more and more of us misfitting a couple run fits, which gave them 2 gashers. We were not in the right gap, and then just missing tackles, hitting them at 2 yards and they gain 5, and little things like that, mush yards I call them. But the big runs we were really misfitting and or missed a tackle straight out. But a lot of that too was we were going to play defensively a little bit different to keep their receivers in front of us and keep our safeties back. And a 5-yard run versus a 35-yard pass, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's true. How about the time of possession? I mean, man, especially early on, the defense was out there a whole lot. There was only 1 offensive possession in the first quarter and just 1 first down, 5 plays. And their second drive of the game was at that point the longest that you guys have allowed this season in terms of plays and time off the clock. What did you see that do to your defense and maybe even also the offense in terms of their rhythm? And then how was the team able to kind of break through that situation to be able to switch the momentum later on?
Yeah, we missed a third down play to keep our drive going. That they busted the coverage actually, and we missed. Tommy read it late and saw it that they busted the coverage because we're just trying to throw a short ball down flat to get the first down and miss Gronk on a corner route. But yeah, defensively it's just a matter of tackling and getting off the field on third down. In the larger part of the game, we did a great job of getting off the field. And again, all those sacks that pushed the kicker back for them and those missed kicks obviously were huge.
Yeah, I mean, what does that do for you guys when you see a kicker struggling like that? Does that affect your game plan against a team if you kind of know that's happening and know what that might mean they do? I mean, they ended up going for a lot of fourth downs. I mean, I'm sure partially because of that, partially because of the game situation. But when you know something like that is happening to another team, how does that affect the way that you guys think about the way they're going to approach it and how you might counter it?
Yeah, it does change a lot on third down. If you got 3rd and 10 and they're going to go for it on 4th, that you can't give up that 5-yard play and get off the field. So it does change a lot of different things. And we knew they were going to start going for it on 4th downs. And most of them we did a pretty good job. And overall, I was really pleased with the way the whole game went.
And they had that big 75-yard drive in the third quarter, 8 minutes long, ends up in the touchdown and 2-point conversion by them. I know that, even though there weren't times you were getting them off the field as often as you wanted, you were definitely making them work for it, for sure, that those drives they were putting together were not these huge chunk plays or real easy on their part. So what kind of caused that drive to work for them? And overall, just how would you rate the way the defense was able to, even on those long drives, make them work for it?
Yeah, that just continued to make them nickel and dime it and throw it in front of you, tackle them. We missed again. We missed some short. They threw some short passes. We missed tackles. Like I said, negatively, the only thing I say about our defense was we missed too many tackles. But that drive was about the only one because we had taken offensively and scored. I want to say 13 points in a matter of 5 minutes between the end of the first half and to start the second half. So we had a good lead going into that drive.
Yeah, in the second quarter, the Vikings were at the point where outgaining the Bucs 188-98, but then there was this run where you guys were outgaining them 141-3. What would you say the biggest shift was? And I know that fast starts is something you guys have been preaching for a while now. So what is it that you see that it continues to be a bit of a problem, but then the ability you guys have to flip that switch to be able to come back from a slow start?
Yeah, I mean it's always third down. We were in manageable third downs. We didn't hit them the first two. So other than that, and the big play to Scotty, and that play wasn't even designed to go to Scotty. He was like the 5th option. But Tom did a great protection by the offensive line to let Tom have that much time to decipher where they were going. Because again, it was designed for a short pass or an intermediate pass, and the safety bid it. So Tom threw a great ball, and Scotty went and got it, and that kind of jump-started everything on the sideline.
All right, well, we still have plenty more coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. The 6 sacks by the Bucs defense. I mean, any game that you're going to have 6 sacks, you're probably going to feel pretty good about that. But it seemed like these came at particularly incredible times, third downs, or specifically where they were on the field to be able to knock them out of field goal range. What did those sacks do for the game overall? Now looking back, especially to be able to see those momentum shifts.
Oh, they were huge. Most of them, like you said, were on third down and pushed the kicker back into a 54 and I think a 46, somewhere in that range, and he missed both of them. But every time that we got great pressure, we got him on the ground. Kirk Cousins is not an easy guy to get on the ground, and he did a great job in the first half of scrambling and ran a quarterback draw, some other things when we were in man coverage. But those sacks, to me, that was the ball game defensively, especially the last one when JPP took the ball away.
Yeah, that one was pretty incredible. I'm not even sure what they can put that down for on the stat sheet. It was sort of a sack, sort of a fumble, sort of an interception, just basically took it right off of Cousins' hand. Take us through that play in particular and the significance of it at that time of the game.
Well, I get Pat O'Connor. My hat's off to Pat O'Connor because he's one of those guys that just works. And he got in there and he was getting great pressure. He got a sack, but he was getting great pressure, kind of pushed him, and then JPP looped around and got the sack and did a great job of just taking the ball right away from him. But same with Shaq, working some games with the D-line. They really were in tune together on their games this week, and Casey Rogers did a great job of gaming them up and the guys getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, Pat O'Connor, that was his first career sack that he was able to get. Can you tell us a little bit about his particular sack and then the role that he's been asked to play this year and maybe even helping fill in for Vita Vea?
Yeah, again, his role has changed since Vita's injury, and he's up every week. And Will got dinged up a little bit in the fourth quarter, and he was the freshest body to put in. And man, did he do a great job with his opportunity. And that's what you talk to these young guys all the time. You never know when your name's going to get called, so make sure you're ready. And Pat was more than ready.
And I noticed that you guys kept Shaq a little bit more rushing from the right side, similar to the adjustment that seemed to be made last week. And it seemed like last week you mentioned it was a little more specific to the matchups. Was it a similar thing in this game, or is it more of a realization that between last game and this game, Shaq seems to be doing pretty well from that right side when he had two sacks against the Vikings?
Yeah, I think some of it's matchup, some of it's formations, which side or outside backers go to. And but Shaq did a great job, and once you get a guy and you got him going, leave him there and keep him going.
That's a good point. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? All right. Well, we have more coming up here with head coach Bruce Arians on the Bruce Arians Show, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. We were talking a little bit about the sacks before this break. Ndamukong Suh also added one. I mean, there's just so many ones to add here. So tell us a little bit about Suh's play in that game in particular. And I know it seemed like he was close on a few other plays as well, that he could have been like Shaq and had a multi-sack game. He was pretty close.
Yeah, he really could. He had his hands on him 2 or 3 times, just couldn't get him down. I don't know if he had grease on his jersey or what, but it looked like it. But Suh had a great game, one of his best games since he's been here, and got a game ball for that game. And he's relentless up the middle, and got called for an offside penalty that he wasn't even close to being offside, which led to we were off the field on that drive too. So, but Suh has been playing great.
Yeah, and Antoine Winfield Jr., another one of those sacks, and plus added approximately 1 billion tackles, it looked like, on the stat sheet. And doing it against his dad's old team, the team he grew up rooting for. What did you see from his play, and did you know that this was going to be a game that maybe meant a little bit more to him?
Oh, yeah, you could see it in practice. It was a special game for him, growing up in that locker room and being a Viking for most of his life as a fan and watching his dad play. But Antoine never ceases to amaze me. He's so prepared and ready. He got a great blitz off the edge, and I was shocked we didn't get that ball. He knocked the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hand, and we didn't recover. It bounces right back to Kirk. But it was a great play, a big play in the game for us.
And I know switching to the offensive side of things, there was the decision to have Leonard Fournette inactive and Keyshawn Vaughn available and going to LeSean McCoy a little bit more. Take us through those decisions and what led to that this particular game and how you feel like those adjustments worked.
Yeah, it was Keyshawn's looked great in practice, and we wanted to get Shady back involved more in third down. And then Keyshawn also can play special teams. So it helps us on special teams, and it also gives us depth at running back. Leonard's been playing good. He's been doing everything. We love him. It was just one of those decisions I had to make that sometimes we can't dress everybody. And so it was a hard decision, but Shady really made me look good in the way he played. And
LeSean McCoy definitely seemed to take advantage of his bigger role. He had 4 carries for 32 yards, basically all kind of in a row right there in a pretty clutch time of the game. Take us through those runs and that time of the game and what that contribution ended up meaning in the grand scheme of things.
It's really when Rowe might have broke his finger. So it was like Shady's in. He's in on third down. He makes a great run. We were going to get Keyshawn back in, but leave him in. He's hot. So we always believe in having a hot hand, keep the ball in his hands. So Shady did a great job on the next one, and really was a key part of that drive going down for the touchdown.
Yeah, and tell us about Rojo's game overall and the fact that now, of course, we're finding out that he was even a little bit banged up in the middle of it. So just take us through how you felt like he played and especially knowing that there was a little bit of a injury situation even in the middle of the game.
Yeah, he played outstanding. Ran the ball well, caught the ball well. Pass protection was good. He seemed to have broken his pinky finger on his left hand somewhere in the ball game when he fell, and kind of like Chris Godwin caught it in the ground. And so we'll wait and see what's happening with that, whether you put a pin in it or if he can play without a pin. But Rojo's been playing at a really, really high level.
Yeah, and tell us about the play that resulted in his touchdown and how important that was at that point in the game and what led to that.
Yeah, again, we scored a touchdown, we stop them, we get a field goal on the last play of the half, so then score the first drive. It was a 17-point swing in a matter of 5 or 6 minutes. And but again, we got a roll on offense, and Cam Brayton and Gronk did a great job on the right side, and Anthony O'Clair and Rojo just went back to his track days and did a broad jump and just leaped over the whole top.
Yeah, speaking of track people, Scotty Miller, I mean, we briefly talked about this earlier, but his touchdown in the second quarter, I mean, it ties his longest catch of his career. It was the longest offensive touchdown of the season so far, longest touchdown reception of the season. That 48-yarder was pretty incredible. Tell us about that play and what worked so well.
Yeah, really the pass protection was the whole play because, again, it was designed to go into the flat to LeSean or to Chris Godwin and then Gronk. So it was a fourth option, and the safety kind of bit down on Tom's eyes, and Tom saw it and just threw a beautiful ball, but he would never gotten that ball off. It wasn't such great protection by the offensive line.
And yeah, I mean, Brady now 30 touchdown passes on the season, which puts him at second all time in the Bucs franchise for a season. I mean, even with the learning curve and the new offense and the new weapons, we've heard so much all season about how this was going to take time and the growing pains and all of that. So to realize that he's still already second all time for a season in the Bucs franchise for touchdown passes with several games still to go. What does that tell you about him and this offense and what it's been able to accomplish and its potential?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a credit to him. It's a credit to the coaches. He's having a heck of a year. I think everybody must have expected 100 touchdowns and 10,000 yards passing, but he's having a really solid year. And it proves that, I think we're going to be a team to be reckoned with as we continue to grow and come down December.
And a couple of the other plays with some of those amazing weapons that he's been throwing a lot of touchdowns to. We had a great sideline catch for Mike Evans, sets up the Gronk touchdown. Tell us about those two plays and the performance of both Mike Evans and Gronk in that game.
Yeah, that was another great ball by Tom. I mean, we had Chris Godwin. They were in a two deep look, and Chris was just burning down the middle. And I thought Tom was throwing it to him, and he saw Harrison Smith turn that way and just threw a dime right to Mike. Mike jumped up, made a big-time catch. And then, again, the goal line touchdown to Gronk was exactly right off the running play that way you run when Rojo jumped over, and good call by Byron.
All right, well, we still have one more segment coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show. We're going to look forward to that next game coming up against division rival Atlanta Falcons, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back into the Bruce Arians Show. We're going to get into this Atlanta Falcons game, but first I wanted to hear about your My Cause, My Cleats. You got to participate in that on Sunday against the Vikings. You had some pretty swaggy shoes, which of course we've come to expect nothing less from you at this point, but tell us about the cause that they featured. Yeah,
it's Court Appointed Special Advocates, Guardian at Litem's, CASA. It's for children who are in the court system either through abuse or neglect, and we try to train as many CASAs. That's the voice for the children and a kid's voice, as many as we can. And my wife was one for 18 years, and we have done this for a long time. So it's huge. We're going to auction those cleats off and the hat that I wore in the ball game.
That is awesome. Thank you guys so much for the work you do in that area. Definitely tell your wife thank you from all of us as well.
You bet.
Looking at this Atlanta game, I mean, the Falcons, man, they're a team that has gone through a lot this year. There's been some ups and downs, and it seems like some growth here. And I wanted to hear where you've seen them in terms of the progression they've made, Raheem Morris taking over and the job he's done, and how this Falcons team is a little different to face now as compared to earlier in the year.
It's a very, very talented football team. And again, I think since Raheem has taken over, you see, I think they're playing a lot harder. They're playing for him. He coached both on the offense and the defense, so he's got good relationships with all the players on the team. And Raheem's a heck of a football coach, and he relates to his players so well. They're playing really, really hard. Offensively, they've got great weapons. Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and of course, Matt Ryan, I think, is still one of the best quarterbacks around. Defensively, Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, Canu Neal, they've got a solid middle defense. And they've got really, really close. They've lost some really, really close games. They could easily be one of the top teams in the league.
And then how interesting is it to play them twice in 3 weeks? I mean, that is such a weird situation to have. How does that affect the way maybe you guys try to game plan, knowing you'll face them twice so close together?
Yeah, really, it's just all about to win the first one. Win the first one, and I'll see what happens for the second one. But for us right now, it's just stacking wins together, and we really can't worry about the next one when we play them.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us on this edition of the Bruce Arians Show. Thank you so much for being with us. Coach, appreciate your time. Congrats on that win, and good luck in Atlanta.
Thank you.